Hi, Eric Young with UTADV. Today, I'm out at Utah's Little Moab, which is nowhere near Moab, actually. It's just west of the Utah Lake in Utah Valley, somewhere past Saratoga Springs. Actually, I don't know where the heck I'm at. But I'm here to introduce you to the White Rhino, as I promised you in the last episode, as UTADV makes a transition from motorcycle adventure to four-wheel drive adventure. The White Rhino started its life out as a 2015 Chevrolet Tahoe, and this was a PPV version, or the police pursuit version of this vehicle. From what I could tell in the research that I've done, because it's tough to go through and find out on these types of vehicles, this one served along the Canadian border, and when I bought it, had low mile, well, for 5 years had low miles at 99,000 miles and 5,000 operating hours. This vehicle was set up as a full police pursuit vehicle with comms and cameras and lights, and it made for a great platform for us to go through and build an overland vehicle. One of the first things to consider in building an overland platform, at least for me, is the drivetrain. How much power and how is it going to get to all four corners of the vehicle to get you where you need to go? Well, this vehicle, this Chevy, has a 5.3 liter LS engine in it, and it's mated to Chevrolet's 6-speed transmission, and that goes to a 2-speed transfer case. Okay, so it is a full four-wheel drive. It has both 4 high and 4 low, and then it has a 4 automatic as well, and then it gets into 2-wheel drive, and it has all the standard traction controls that Chevy has standard on their vehicles. The police pursuit vehicle package also has a 12-volt auxiliary system. So in addition to the crank battery on the Rhino, it also has a 12-volt battery that will power everything else that the vehicle needs, independent of the main crank battery. And so when it was a police vehicle, that secondary battery went through and powered all the lights and the comms and the cameras and so on. And with all that removed, I'm able to use it to go through and power any other auxiliary electrical component that I need, like the insert. But before I get to the inside of the vehicle, let me talk to you quickly just about the outside so you can have an idea what's going on. And note that as I talk about different components on this build, there'll be a link to an actually more detailed video that'll get into the heart of these modifications, both the exterior modifications, the interior modifications, and performance modifications. On the outside, as you'll probably notice, there's a 2-inch lift. And I bought the vehicle with that lift installed. I think the reseller who got it from auction put that lift on there along with a roof rack and a light bar to kind of give it a little bit more curb appeal. In addition to the 2-inch lift, though, the vehicle came standard with a number of items making it a better off-road platform. The first one being a widened track, the second one being heavy-duty shocks front and back, as well as a beefed-up anti-roll system, both front and back as well. On top, I have added a Rhino Rack Pioneer platform, and attached to that Rhino Rack platform are 2 90-liter Rome Adventure cases. Also on the Rhino Rack is a Rome Adventure awning, and then we also use a Rome Adventure tent that fastens onto that awning, and I'll talk about that in another episode as we compare maybe the advantages and disadvantages of using a ground tent versus a tent that's attached to the vehicle. In front, as you can see, is a 10,000-pound winch that's attached to a frame insert there, along with a bull bar to go through and provide a little bit more protection for the winch component. On the back of the Rhino is a Wilco Off-Road Hitchgate Solo swing-out spare tire carrier, and that attaches to the 2-inch receiver, trailer hitch receiver on the back of the Tahoe, and also provides a mount for other accessories that we need along the way. Also on the exterior of the Rhino is a pair of rigid Series 50 fog lamps that are mounted on KD fabrication brackets. Now, they're mounted in the same area as the stock fog lamp because there's just really not a whole lot of real estate to do anything here with auxiliary lights on the direct front of the vehicle. And they put out an enormous amount of light in that fog position. And on top, you can see that there is a light bar there. It's a low profile light bar, both spot and flood for our off-road needs. The whole package rides on 285/17 grabbers, and they're wrapped around Black Rhino Barstow 17-inch rims. And you're probably wondering why we call this the Rhino, or why I call it the White Rhino. This is my 5th build, and probably my last. And being a full-size build on a Chevy Tahoe platform, this is pretty rare. You don't see a lot of full-size builds out there in overlanding. So we decided to, with the White Rhino name, that is just as rare perhaps as what the vehicle is. Interior modifications include, and probably the most popular one that gets the most hits on the website, is the insert that I built out of extruded aluminum. And this insert provides a secondary kitchen for us. We have a full trailer that we pull, and we use that as a base camp, and then we go out with the Rhino from time to time on trails that might take us overnight. And to take care of our needs that way, there's a full kitchen built in the back of this with running water and with a gas or a propane stove, and that's what the propane tank is for. The insert accommodates then a sink and a stove, and then it has another drawer that handles all of our mess and cooking utensils. And then there's a roll-out pantry that's 3 levels that provides the food storage that we're taking along with us. And then on the far left is an IceCo 40-liter fridge, and that handles all of our cold storage, both refrigeration and freezing as well. On the inside of the insert is a fold-down door that goes through and provides storage for our recovery tools and other things that we need along the way, as well as for our camping gear. And then there's the dog deck, which has been a staple on every single one of the builds that I've done so far since we travel with 2 golden retrievers. And below the dog deck is our 10-gallon water tank that provides fresh water for our kitchen insert. For comms inside, I'm using an iPhone, maybe like you are, with all the apps for navigation. It's a handy device to have, along with the photography and the video capabilities. This mounts into a RAM mount for us, and we're using a range extender to go through and maintain some level of bandwidth when we're out away from a signal, like I am right here today. The booster that I'm using is by WeBoost by Wilson Electrics out of St. George, Utah. This is the second one that we've used. The first one was on our Montero, and I wasn't all that impressed with what it was doing for us on that. This is upgraded. It's brand and new. Actually, this one is designated for over-the-road truckers, but it's been working out very well on the Tahoe. In addition to the iPhone, we're also using for navigation a Garmin Zumo XT. Now, this came off my Tiger. It's a navigation device specifically made for motorcycle travel, but it's working out very well for our off-road travel as well. And then in addition to that, I have an old DeLorme InReach Explorer that I use for satellite communications when I'm away from any kind of a cell signal, but still need to be in touch with my significant other and family who might be far away from me. For vehicle-to-vehicle communication as a GMRS radio, I'm using, and don't tell anybody, a Baofeng 5R. It's a ham radio that has the ability to go through and program in channels for GMRS. Now, I have my GMRS license, and I'm toying with the idea of actually getting the actual radio in there, but for the time being, and as little as I use it, I have this installed. It's on a Night Eyes magnet mount that just clips on into the center console up above, where it's up and out of the way, and I can grab it and talk and put it back without much of a hassle. So there'll be a whole set of videos that talk about the build on the Rhino, much like what I did on the Tiger Explorer and on the Tiger XC800. They're for you enthusiasts who want to go through and emulate the same thing. So for UTADV, thanks for watching. I appreciate your hanging there with me as we kind of make a transition from motorcycles into something that might fit my needs as far as my health is concerned. Okay? All right. See you next episode.